Going till 2:35?
Yes.
All right. Before I get started, if you guys, we're a small group, so you can unmute or you can put your information in the chat, but just kind of give me an idea of who you are, where you teach, what you teach. That would be great. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, I'm going to share my screen.
Nancy, can you see the chat box, or would you like me to just relay the information there?
I can see it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So we have 3rd grade. Oh, fun. Okay. All right. Well, my other Zoom window disappeared, but that's okay because let's see. Oh, there you are. Okay. So we have some Spanish teacher reading intervention, and a lot of these things will work. French, awesome. Okay. So this is basically just a presentation on some fun ways that you can get your kids engaged in world language. So there's me, all my contact information is here, so you can grab that later. I have a lot of pretty badges on the bottom. So let's talk about engagement for a second. Engagement isn't just getting kids to be quiet and fill out their worksheets. It's really getting them involved and participating in whatever it is that you're doing. And this is very important in every subject, obviously. But in language, it's particularly important because whether you're an English language learner or you're studying a world language, there's no substitute for actually speaking and using the language. I studied Italian for 2 years before the first time I went to Italy. And when I went there, the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that I was there, I learned so much more just because I was forced to use it. And it wasn't just going through and doing the exercises and conjugating the verbs. So we want to find ways to get kids to participate. I mean, obviously now we're not traveling anywhere. So we have to make it an okay place. Your classroom has to be an okay place to make mistakes, right? And I'm just going to kind of go through these really quickly. We want to make it small, chunk the work, give students choice, because that will make them, if they get to pick what they're learning, they are more engaged. Obviously, if you have something where you have kids like commenting on a soccer match and they're watching the Italian soccer match, if they love soccer, that's going to be engaging. But if I'm somebody who really isn't interested in soccer, that's not going to be an engaging activity. So we need to give kids an option to have some choice, even if they're doing a similar activity. And we'll talk about that going forward. Make it relevant, keep them active, and have fun. So you can either share in the chat if you have a great idea as we're going along. Please share in the chat if you have something fabulous. Since we do have kind of a short time, I'm going to go through and show you some tools and some ideas. And we'll just go here. So using breakout rooms, if you are available to do that, is great because it allows you to break your class down into smaller groups. That makes it more comfortable for students because they're not, oh, thank you. Yes, breakout room discussion. They're not making those mistakes in front of everybody. They're just in the small room and they're working. So I have a couple of ideas, and these are all linked in the presentation that I wanted to share. This is, if you are doing translations, this is a really fun one. And you'll notice if you read this, it's half English and half Spanish. So this is a way that you can easily differentiate because you can tell the kids, okay, I want you to put this all in Spanish, Or I want you to put it all in English, which is an easier task for native English speakers. Or you can just have them pick out key vocabulary and write it down. And when they do this in a group, with a small group, this can be a really easy, fun way to engage the students. And obviously this is something from Spanish 1, but you could do something much more complex with a higher level if you teach a higher level of language. And if you have English learners, you can do it if they all have the same native language, then you can give them the same kind of thing. Another thing that you can do is have discussion starters. And you'll see I've color coded this. And one cool thing about this is you can have, now I did it in English because I didn't want to have this in French or Italian in case somebody didn't understand that. But what you'll notice is there are 4 boxes for names. So this would be for breakout groups of 4 or less, fewer. And then there are different colors. So what I can do is I can put my kids in breakout rooms, and then I can come back and look at the slide master right here, and I can watch every group as they're working so that I can come in and see, oh my gosh, the yellow group has done nothing. Oh, closed captioning in Google Meets and Microsoft Translator. Great ideas. Thank you for sharing. The slides are shared. Angela, if you put the link in, that would be terrific. It's also up here, or sorry, up there. But so what I wanted to share here, if I go back to the main view, this forces the kids to actually speak and talk to each other, because they can fill out these top ones. But if you'll notice here, one thing we all like is, so one person could put in a suggestion, but then everybody, yes, please make a copy of it. That would be, please make a copy of it, share it, use it. But these kind of things are things that they have to talk about. Who has the most siblings? They have to talk about that. No, they shouldn't be. You may have to click on the editor. There's a little gear down at the bottom. If you click there and click on view editor, then you can make a copy. So this is, or what is the total of your shoe sizes? So you can change this to be whatever you want. This can be a getting to know you activity, but it can also be more content related as you go along. Speaking games, I'm going to skip this one because you guys can read it and I'd rather show you some other stuff. Okay, Wheel of Names. I love Wheel of Names. And is it possible the kids mess up the main slide as they try to type in their answers? Sometimes. It is a discussion that you need to have with your students, but it's a great way to make it an okay place to make mistakes. Version history will save you. You can go back and undo. You can also teach kids to use the undo button. If you're really concerned, you can make a copy for each group, a separate copy, but I like to teach them to work together and to all be on the same deck because it's easier later to share and it's easier for you as a teacher to see. But you know, it does take some time. What I like about Wheel of Names is it's super customizable. So if it'll load here, you know, you can type in names, you can type in sentences. Now this is a mishmash. I would never do it this way. It's just to show you all the different options that you have. But you can put in a random question. You can put in, these are images that I found. I had some that were weather based because maybe we're talking about how to discuss the weather this week. And I put in some emojis. So when I click to spin, okay. So, all right, so now whoever's turn it is, please say something about this. And you can remove it and go again. If you're using this, Wheel of Names is just so much fun, and it is customizable. Okay, here's a question that's going to come up. You can save these. You can, so I have here, I can open, and then you can see my other wheels that I have. So I could open this one. And you can have different ones for different levels. Also, you can load them from spreadsheets. So if you have all your things saved in Google Spreadsheets, you can just pull them in and load them right here. So that's a fun way. And it's really exciting for the kids to spin the wheel and go. If you're looking for pictures, I love pixabay.com and unsplash.com, copyright friendly, no citation required. The slideshow is view only. Patricia, you need to go to File, Make a Copy.
Yeah, you know, it's sorry, I've been
No, that's okay.
I've been kind of having that problem all day today. I don't know if it's some setting on my own computer, but I can't access I can go to File, but I can't access the Make a Copy of any of today's presentation.
Okay, here, let me try this.
Figure it out later.
Well, here, let's see if this link will work for you. Try that. Whoops, what am I doing here?
And thank you, sorry about that. I think
no,
it's just
please.
something with going on with me today.
It's an okay place to make mistakes and to need help. This is, we're all here to learn. So don't worry. I'm just waiting for this to reload now because I accidentally clicked the back button. So
I'm sorry.
We all make mistakes. Tell you a funny story about how I made mistakes in Italy and will never miss so in Italy they have baci perugina, which are like Hershey's Kisses. It's called a kiss. And I went into a cafe and I asked the bartender if I could have a kiss, and he said, "Certo, qui o fuori," which is like here or outside. I'm like, no, I want the. Never made that mistake again, right? So that mistakes are how we learn. Struggle, it's all productive struggle, right? That's what Adam Bello was probably, I didn't go to his session, but I'm sure that's what he was talking about. So yeah, Wheel of Names, and you can use it for all different things. Like I said, questions, you can have images, you can put a verb and have people conjugate it. For some reason, conjugating verbs is much more fun if you have a spinning wheel than if you have a spreadsheet or a table that you have to fill out, right? Yo estoy, tú estás. Not fun. Put it on a wheel, it's fun. Conversation topics, images, you can give them links to go to breakout rooms. You can do it whole group. You can even do this face-to-face when you share it on your screen, and you can do it when your kids are physically in the class. It's still fun and engaging. So this is one of my new favorites, lyrics training. So if you go to lyrics training, now it doesn't have every language, but I saw Spanish and French in here, and of course it has English. So when you go there, you can get it, look like you see these, but you can also click to go to the web. And when you go to the web, well, I'll agree right now, okay. You can log in, which I thought I had already. So I'm not going to do that right now, but you can pick your language. And then you can play a song. And I didn't share my sound, so you won't hear it, but what you'll see, it'll be playing the song and I'm hearing it. Here. And in a minute, it's going to give me a chance to type in the words that I hear. Apparently, I've picked a bad song because okay. So now I have to type it. And they have different levels, so you can have more blank spaces, fewer blank spaces. It can tell you the whole thing. If you log in, you can create your own account. You can save your own blanks. So maybe you're going to take out all the verbs or something like that and leave the nouns. It's really cool, super fun, and it's engaging because it has modern music. Not everything's super modern and it doesn't have everything, but it's a great start. And you never want to do the same thing over and over and over. You want to do it enough so they're familiar. You're not explaining how to do the new thing every time, but you want to have a variety. So this is a great tool that you can add to your toolkit. It does have a write mode. It does have a choice mode. Students do not need accounts, which is something that I love. You do need an account if you want to create your own games. So there's that. Okay, Jamboard. I know we've had a couple Jamboard things. I do have a Jam set up, so I'm gonna copy this link and put it in the chat if you guys want to play on it. If not, I know my computer was being kind of funky, so perhaps if yours is too, you don't have to go on here. But here's some ideas, just a couple that I put on here, and then I have tons more on the slide. So caption this photo, right? You just click for the sticky note. Right? You can have kids put their names. So you can get a different picture every time and have kids work on that. 6-word story, right? Il cane non sembrava molto pericoloso. The dog did not seem very dangerous. But kids can put their own stories. You can, again, use different pictures. Now, the one thing I wish Jamboard would let you have links, you actually have to go here, but then you can spin the wheel. I just put a little picture on here so you can see, and then they can type. So it's kind of like Scattergories, if you remember that game where you had to like pick a letter and pick a thing, and then everybody had to put it on there. You can also spin the wheel or have Wheel of Names up and then have kids add sticky notes to the jam based on whatever spins. But there, luckily for us, there are some really wonderful sharing people out there. Joe Dale put these Jamboards up. Each one of these has 20 different activities. So he just put them out. He's like super generous. Here you go. And they are all there for you. So you can make copies and use them with your students. If you have screen capture tool, you can record the discussion and put it right up there. So like as kids are working on the Jamboard and they're talking, they can be recording it and then they can put a link right on the Jamboard. Somebody in here mentioned quizzes, which is super, super fun. There are a lot of world language quizzes to choose from. But what I really like is to have kids create their own. So there's a form here. And if you click on this, it'll ask you to make a copy. Basically, quizzes allows you to upload questions from a spreadsheet. So you can have kids submit questions with answers. They go to a spreadsheet and then you can go through it, read them, make sure everything is the way you want it, and then upload it directly to Quizzes so they can create the assessment for you, right? And you can use them for all different kinds of things. One thing that I really like in quizzes is you can use your own memes. So I'm going to kind of go out of order here. But like, you can have kids make their own memes, or you can have them make memes for your right and wrong answers in quizzes, right? And if you don't speak Italian, this is when there's 5 minutes left in class and somebody asks a question. So memes are great for all levels. They don't use a lot of words typically, so that's good for kids to feel comfortable. But you can require specific vocabulary or use the subjunctive in your meme. Use a passive sentence, whatever you want. There are lots of different tools that you can use, but it all starts with a picture and some words. So going back to quizzes, you can search and then click more and filter by language. So you can find all the quizzes that are in French or that are in Spanish. They have lots of languages, but not all of them have lots of quizzes. So again, depending on what you are teaching, you may or may not have to create your own. They do have different game modes, so you can set up quizzes so that people can go over the material as many times as they want for practice, or you can do it as a competition. Either way, super fun. Quizlet is more vocabulary based, but they do have an individual gameplay mode now that you can use if you are in distance learning. Everybody can be on their own. You can also do it as breakout rooms. And if you've never done Quizlet Live, so much fun. Are you familiar with Quizlet Live? Have you used it? Okay, see a lot of people nodding, so I'm not going to spend time on that. But if you can search for title and chapter of your textbook, and you can have students collaborate on sets. Again, I love it when students can collaborate. Even young kids can do this if you set up the form very simply so that they can fill that out. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I do want to share with the sound. So let's see, we're going to share. And I'm going to share, let's see. I'm going to share this one. Whoops. It is not wanting to share. Let me get. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go back. Hopefully you guys can hear.
I don't hear sound. I don't know.
You need to optimize for sharing with sound.
I did. Let me try again.
Maybe just sound on a video itself.
It might be. Let me stop sharing. Whoops. All right, here we go. Trying again.
Very good dog. One paw to control and a switch. This is where Mabel is strong, chasing the game.
Can you hear it now?
That intensity, we saw it in the semi-final.
Yes, but you're not sharing the video though. You're sharing just us.
And perhaps a few signs of overconfidence from her rival, a bit of showboating. Needs to be careful. There's the change from the classic hold, still placed on the outside though, great technique.
There you go.
Glance at the youngster who shows little emotion, but her mind will be empty. 20 seconds to go now. Olive closing in on victory, and that comes in eyes of being told she's a very good dog. One paw to control and a switch. Now Mabel sensing this might be a chance, still waiting, still believing. And you wonder what Olive is doing here, only has to hold on. Going to the upright though, high tariff with no opposable thumbs, high risk at this stage. And it's gone, and Mabel takes it. No mercy from the younger dog who
Okay, so let's see, I'm going to go back and share my regular screen. So if you haven't seen Olive and Mabel, they are fabulous. I'm going to turn that off so you can get a better picture. So basically, Andrew Cotter, if you're not familiar, is a sportscaster who got bored during the pandemic and decided to record his dogs and put all these commentaries on top of them. And he actually ended up with a book deal. It's awesome. He's doing all these things. But what is really fabulous is that it's just such an easy thing for us to have our kids do, right? Because they can do a voiceover of anything. So they can go in and they can use Screencastify, which is free and is linked to Google Drive or Nimbus or any other screen capture tool, or they can do it live, although that's a little bit more challenging. Even you can have them practice and then present to the class without it. And they can do all kinds of things. So they can do sports like I mentioned earlier, where we were talking about possibly doing like soccer commentary or baseball or whatever sport they like. And it can be a professional game, a recording of a game. It can be their brother's little league game. It could be anything. They can do a weather forecast with pictures of the weather, or they can draw their own pictures. It doesn't matter. Movie dialogue. This is super fun. If you've ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, where they dub over old movie clips, kids have so much fun doing this. If you're going to be recording and sharing, then do consider copyright rules. Don't get yourself in trouble. That is not what we want. But there are a lot of skills that are needed for this, because it's not something that they're just going to be doing off the cuff. You're probably going to want them to write and submit a script, or at least work together and practice. You can require them to turn in the script as part of the project. You can have them peer edit each other's work. You can have them go through the process, maybe some just within each group they can peer edit, or maybe you just want them to turn it in to you for you to check before they actually record or present. And if you're looking for videos that students can use, Pixabay has all of these sources are free and require no citation. The Literacy Shed, I did one, it was actually was with 4th grade. It was actually English. They just not for language at all. It was just a regular general education 4th grade class, but they were working on dialogue writing. And they all did the same video from the Fun Shed. It's Octopodi, if you're looking for it. It's OKTAPODI, about a pair of octopus like creatures, and the girl gets sold and the boy is like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend is gone. And these 4th graders made the best videos. They had so much fun and so much more writing, higher level writing. So it's really a very fun, engaging process. And if you want to share them, you can have the kids upload to Google Classroom, where they can just see each other's, and it's not going to go outside. So very safe, very protected for kids who might be shy. Or you can use Flipgrid, Screencastify Submit, which is it's a premium feature if you want to have more than one assignment at a time. But it's a great thing if you are using Screencastify. You can have them do one assignment for free, and then you can delete it later. It's an easy way for them to make screen capture videos and submit. Basically, what you would do is you would have them display whatever it is on the computer, and they would turn on Screencastify and just talk over it. And I seem to have lost the chat, so hopefully there weren't any
you're good.
comments.
You're good.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. So again, Flipgrid is another great tool for this. If you go into the discovery topics, they have all kinds of things. They can do all of these things, get to know you, everything from simple counting to AP French. I found on there. And there are a couple ways that you can set this up. So you can do it so that they're moderated and students don't see the other students because you just want to see them talking, and it's still engaging. You can also set it so that students can respond to each other, which I think is the most engaging because they're watching their friends, their classmates, and then they can respond to them. Flipgrid now has written comments, so you can ask them to respond written in the target language. You can ask them to respond with a video in the target language, or if it's, you know, a lower level class and you just want them to respond in English, you can have them do that too. One idea that I really like is for you to watch the student videos and come up with questions so that they actually have to listen for the answer. So if people are talking about their favorite foods, you could maybe ask a question, well, why did Nancy say that she didn't like cheese? Although I do love cheese, but I didn't like it until I lived in Italy. So didn't eat cheese till I was 18 years old. Why not? So you can have questions that are prepared so it kind of focuses the students listening, if that makes sense. It gets them to pay greater attention to the videos and get them to listen more to the videos more attentively and more engaged. Okay, Edu Protocols. So Edu Protocols, you know, if John has been here, he was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here. He talked about random emoji power paragraphs. Guess what? Those are fabulous for world language. It's got the pictures, you can do everything. So when he was talking about how you could pick specific emojis and just put them kind of on, say, Wheel of Names or Flippity or something else to focus the discussion, I just love that. Iron Chef is another really great tool for collaborative learning, and that would be here when you click here. And I gave this presentation previously, and one of the people who was in my session said, oh, you know what? I translated 8 parts into Spanish, and she gave me permission to link it here. So if you want to use 8 parts in Spanish, that's right here. And I have from the very simple ones to the more complex ones. So you can use any of these different Edu Protocols to get students to, let's see, we'll just open one of these. So this would be Little Parts, which is basically for younger students to start working with grammar, but it works really well with world language students in lower levels. So you show them some kind of picture. Usually we want to look for a funny picture, and you can find a lot of those on places like boardpanda.com if you've never been on there. There's so much great stuff. Don't go there when you don't have some time to waste, because you will find yourself drawn into all the little things. But if you go there and look for funny, you can find things with pictures of like cars on roofs. So then the kids look at the picture and they maybe come up with, you can translate this into whatever language you're doing. 3 verbs that come to mind, some nouns, and then they write sentences. This can be done collaboratively, it can be done individually. And if you go and look at some of John and Marlena's things, you can then vote on the best sentences. Kids can work to make them better. Just, there are so many possibilities with these. Iron Chef would be kind of more collaborative. Now this one is a vocabulary template. You can use it for vocabulary, but you can also use it for content. So it could be something like, you know, culture, food, history of China, and you can have different things where people would put in, the students would put in different information on Iron Chef. 5 more minutes. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Okay, just a couple little things, and then I'll have a couple minutes for questions. Geotools are a natural when you are talking about language because place is an integral part of language. And so if you go to Google Earth or Google Maps, you can explore where the language is spoken. You can do Google Voyager. Let's see if this is this example will load for me quickly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. All right, well, while that's loading, go back. So you can create for your students, you can have them create for you. So they can write in the target language all about the locales, where that language is spoken. Let's see, still not loaded. They can put points on a map and you can have them write everything in the target language and share and explore. They can work together with different layers in the same map. Don't have students working on the same layer at the same time because maps do not refresh automatically and they will end up moving each other's work. So pro tip, create a new layer in your map for each student. And you can do an amazing race. I have a link there. So, okay, well, you can look at the example later. So this is a kind of contest where, not contest, but a little bit of a challenge where students will click, they'll go, they'll look at a place, they'll look at the clue, they'll put in information into a Google form, and then that'll take them to the next place on the map if they are correct. So that's really fun and that can be done collaboratively. PSA, don't try everything at once. I've shown you lots of different things. If you decide that you want to try something, please, and you have trouble with it, please, please, please reach out to me. I am here. My contact information is in the slide deck. I have lots of resources for you here. And my contact information is here. And I think I have like 2 minutes for questions. If you have any, I hope I didn't go too fast. It was just kind of a little smattering of information, but I hope it was helpful.
It was really good, Nancy. Those are such great ideas.
Thank you.
Everybody's saying thank you. I'll even add, as a third grade teacher, I teach everything, including ELD. And these are even great tools that I can use with my ELD curriculum as well. Well,
thank you. Like I said, please do reach out to me if you run into any issues. I'm on Twitter. You can email me. Contact form on my website. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, perfect. Grazie. Prego.
Mm-hmm.